These are a few moments of bygone days, as told by Roy Sansom and questioned by Frank Tilley. It refers to days on Bacaloo Island. Roy, what time of the year in the spring would you start getting ready to go to Bacaloo?
It was around the middle of May.
In the middle of May.
Between the middle and then the last.
Yeah. And how many crews would usually go down there? This is from Winterton now we're talking about, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, but in the years when I was down there, it was when the war was on, the war years.
Oh, yes,
in the 40s.
Yeah.
And there would be about, wouldn't be that many then, Frank, only about 5 or 6 crews then.
Oh, yes, yeah.
But generally what they have is they have one motorboat, be too many in the motorboat, then they tow a pump.
Oh,
too many in the pump.
Yeah.
So that was a crew.
Yeah.
So
you would go down there, and how long would you stay there?
You
Would you stay there for a week? Or?
Oh, no, you go down and you stay for, well, the Cape. When the Cape was called.
That would be June, July, possibly.
Well, part of July. You'd be back, well, the Cape would be going up by the middle of July. It'd be gone.
Oh, yes, yeah.
So then it'd be sort of a slow time, a dead time.
And I understand Bacaloo Island is sheer cliff right out of the water. So where would you live during this period when you were there?
Well, when I was there, there was a place they called the London Gulch.
London Gulch.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that was the place you went in. There was 50 feet above the water. There was a landing which they called a crane.
Oh, yeah.
It had a hoist winch there for winch. And the boats, you couldn't pull the boats up. It got stormy. You had to put them on a cable and hoist them up on the crane.
Oh, yes.
By the winch.
Yeah.
This is too, you couldn't do nowhere to pull them ashore.
No.
But the way it worked, they had first, there was one ladder, that iron ladder was 30 feet long. That went up and there was a small landing there that you could put a boat there. And then from that up was another ladder, it was 20 feet.
And you would have to go up this iron ladder?
Oh, yeah, you had to walk up the iron ladder.
Why was that made secure to the cliff?
Oh, yeah, it was bolted onto the cliff.
Oh, yes.
Bolted onto the rocks.
You didn't want to be nervous, I suppose, going up there.
No, well, the worst part was getting in the ladder.
Oh, getting in the ladder.
So you cut out a rope. You had a rope going from there, and you cut out the rope, and you pulled the boat in, the stern first, and you jumped, and you swung on the rope. That's how you got ashore from the boat to the ladder. And when you went to hoist the boat out of the water, that's what they did too. They came down with the wire cable, and hooked in the ring bolts in the stem and the stern, and swung the boat out of the water. And when she come out of the water, you jump ashore on the ladder, and you just came up with the painter in your hand so she wouldn't blow around. Keep her steady. So she was come up with the crane, and they pulled in on the top landing.
You pulled the boat in then?
Yeah. That probably 5 or 6 boats up there.
And where you stayed, your living quarters,
well, that was really superb.
That was above this, was it?
Well, it's only about a couple of 100 yards up from the landing, up by the side of the hill.
Yeah.
It's all up by the side of the hill, you know.
Not too fairly level though, was it? Where you?
Well, there was level spots, but it was all uphill.
Oh yes.
From the time you left, you went up. There were some level spots there.
What did you have? Cabins there? Did you?
Well, no, they called it a shack.
Yeah. And how big was the?
Oh, I'd say probably about 12 by 20.
12 by 20.
Yeah.
And how many would stay there?
Well, what they had there, they had bunks put up, you know, in the one that my father owned, the shack. There were 6 bunks, see?
6 bunks.
Yeah. 3 on the bottom, 3 on top.
So what was this, a crew or 2 crews?
Well, yeah, it could be for 2 crews, but I mean, when I was there, it was only myself and my father stayed in that shack, because we weren't with any of the others. We were on our own.
And this would be your cooking area too?
Everything, yeah. With a Waterloo stove.
With a Waterloo stove. And what did you, from the way you talk about Bacaloo pretty rocky in that, so was there any trees at all there? Or?
A bit of scrub up on the top of the island. You get a lot of scrub trees. You know, you had those wood, small wood. You had that's what you used to burn.
That's what you had to cut.
Yeah. When you weren't fishing, you go for wood.
Yeah, Roy. Every morning, I presume, if you wouldn't pull the boat up over the cliff every evening.
Oh no, it was only when there was a storm.
Oh yes, yeah. And of course, when you had it lifted up, it had to go back in the morning to go fishing.
That's right.
Yeah. And what did you work? I suppose you worked from daylight to dark. You just.
Well, that was it. That was it. You get up in the morning, you'd be going fishing daylight, and it was fish was scarce. Well, you fished all day till 5 or 6 o'clock. You got back in and got the fish put away, and it was dark time you got up in the shack.
Yeah. Get something to eat then.
Get something to eat. Turn in or try to get something.
Yeah.
That was the hard part about it, was the eating, because you didn't have anywhere to keep anything. Really.
And how about water? Was there water supply there?
Oh, no, you get water, you know. Didn't have to go too far for water. It's a natural spring in there.
Very good. Yeah.
There was one thing about it, there was no rabbits.
No rabbits?
No rabbits. Scatter fox, but no rabbits.
No rabbits, scatter fox. Roy, how long would you spend down there now at a time when you, 2 or 3 weeks before you went home, or?
No, to be, like I said, like the Captain School, you go down around, I'd say, around the end of the latter part of May.
Yeah.
And then, you know, if there was no Captain, you'd be jigging fish. So the Captain come, then you fish the Captain School.
Yeah.
And then you come back again, you know, you go back for a week or so.
You salt your fish. Where would you salt your fish?
Well, they had stages up by the side where the crane was towards the landing.
Oh, yeah.
Over by the side, built on the cliffs.
Yeah.
On the side of the cliff.
But you, would you make your fish down there too?
No.
You just salt it off and take it home, would you?
Well, there was one year, I mean, I was only down there 4 or 5 summers, but I know one summer they sold over to Beggar's Key.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Go to come and get it, salt and take it right over there.
Yeah.
But otherwise, E.J. Green, they used to have a boat, and he'd come down and they bring it up to Winterton, and they make the fish then. That's when they were making it, you know.
Yeah. Roy, while you were there, when was stormy days? What did you do on a stormy day, a windy day, or so that you couldn't get out fish? Well,
you wash your dirty clothes. Go up in the pond and wash your dirty clothes.
Oh, there's a pond there?
Go up the pond, you go up and have a swim.
No trout?
No trout.
No trout.
Wash your dirty clothes and get wood.
Oh, well.
Cook a pot of pea soup.
Yeah. But the food, I suppose you always had lots of food.
But, I mean, such as it was.
Such as it was, yeah.
You know, when you go down first, you carry down, homemade bread.
Yeah.
But that wouldn't stand very long, and then they never had the time or the facilities to bake bread.
Oh.
And they bake probably some pans of buns and stuff like that when on a windy day, you know.
Oh, yes, yeah.
But then when Sunday come, you'd have a meal of birds, puffins.
Yes, Roy, Bacaloo is known for birds. It's really a bird colony, isn't it?
Oh,
Turds.
Puffins are the main bird. Yeah. Gannets.
Yeah, did you eat the gannets?
No.
Never eat the gannets. Usually the puffins.
Puffins was the main bird.
Oh,
so you had a puffin, every man had a puffin Sunday.
Is that right? And there wasn't much of a problem to get a puffin, I suppose.
Well, if you were busy Saturday and fishing all day Saturday, somebody would leave early to go out and shoot enough puffins for dinner tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
So they come back, then everybody take a puffin and pick it and get it ready for the pot.
And, you had vegetables with it then? Or?
If you had any vegetables, yes.
If not, you'd have puff.
You just had puff.
Oh.
And pudding, or dough boys.
Roy, I remember something about Sansom. Your grandfather was drowned down in Bacaloo, or can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Well, that was April the 23rd, 1923.
Mm-hmm.
So they had been out fishing the year before.
Yeah.
And they let fish down in the following year. They couldn't get it home. So in the meantime, they came short of Ready Cove and they sold their boat in Ready Cove that fall and they walked home.
Yeah.
So the next year in April month, that 23rd of April, they hired a boat. and went down to get the fish.
Yeah.
So they went down and loaded the fish on the boat.
Well, this on back of the oil.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they left to come up, and when they left to come up, the wind started to breeze down, and they figured they were going to do it. And when they were coming around the Grace Point, what they call a hard cove, they swamped the boat.
Oh.
And she turned over and sank. But she didn't sink, she turned over. They lost the fish. And the sore men in the boat, my father and grandfather, and my father's uncle, I think it was, and Ern Dowling.
Yeah, four of them.
Four.
Yeah.
But the other, see, my grandfather, one man, the other man, he got drowned. But my grandfather, my father, he died from exposure, really.
Oh, yes, yeah.
He just held on to him. Well, I mean, they were cold water. They were in the water about 3 hours, or the water was going over, so.
Yeah.
Before they got rescued,
Yeah, how did they get rescued? Did they have a boat?
There was another boat from Winterton, Uncle Dan Hiscock.
Oh, yeah.
They were down at the same time. They were behind them.
Mm-hmm.
And they came up to them. That's how they got rescued.
And your grandfather was drowned, or he died of exposure?
Well, he was died from exposure, but he didn't got that, he was lost.
And there was another fellow with them died at that.
Well, he was never, they never found his body.
No. Roy, did you ever go around Bacaloo Island, that is in boat? Because I've read stories about a lot of ships that has been lost on Bacaloo Island. Went in the cliffs.
No, I never saw any wreckage.
No.
But
you heard about all those
well, you heard
wrecks
about it,
yeah.
But the most we did really was walk from one end to the other. We did that. Great place for bake apples.
Good place for bake apples.
Oh, yes.
But what would you say? Did you enjoy these few days you had there in Bacaloo, or your summers? I know it was
a lot of work. There wasn't much time for play.
But there was a certain amount, I suppose, of freedom, was there?
Oh, yes, not freedom. I mean, it was Sunday, so after you get your dinner Sunday, you'd probably walk aboard the island somewhere and go founding rocks over the cliffs, or trying to catch the birds, or puffins, and ticklies.
Yeah. You wouldn't go offshore to really cover anything to go to church?
No, no. But the lighthouse keeper, they used to go ashore every Sunday.
Oh yes, there was a lighthouse keeper.
At that time, yeah. But it was 3 brothers, really.
And did you live far away from?
Well, they were about 1.5 miles from the landing.
Oh yeah.
Right up over the island,
They used the same landing, of course, too.
Well, that landing was owned by the government, and the fishermen had to pay rent.
Oh.
It wasn't very much, I don't know, probably $3 a year, I think.
Yeah.
But everything was
down the ladder.
Everything was landed there, coal for the lighthouse.
Yeah.
That all had to be hauled up from over the island, on a horse and on the dray. Never had wheels on because there was no road. Just a dray going over the grass.
And they kept the horse up there?
Well, they kept animals. They kept cows.
Really?
Oh, yes.
Oh.
And they cut a lot of, getting up almost enough hay there.
Well, they must have had a barn.
Oh, yes, they had a barn. But it was not very near the lighthouse. That was only when they had it down, I suppose, about a 1/4 mile from the lighthouse, the barn was.
Down in a hollow.
Down in a hollow. Because up with the lighthouse was right on the edge of a cliff.
Yeah.
Nothing, only rocks. And they were down to more of a leveler place.
Yeah. But these lighthouse keepers, apart from the loneliness, I suppose
they went up to Bay Bird every Sunday.
Oh.
If you get off the island, they went up every Sunday. Went to Mass and came back.
Oh, yeah. And Roy, I was thinking at that time, I suppose there was radios then, was there?
Battery.
Battery radio, yeah.
But they only had the lighthouse.
Lighthouse, they had one, I suppose.
They had it, and I mean, everything was did by signals, and they had the flags and all that.
Yeah.
For signal to boats and stuff like that. You had, if you knew the codes. That was something you could do on a windy day. You want to do, you open and help shine the lamps, something that they're all propane lamps, the tower.
Propane.
40-foot tower.
Yeah. Well, I guess when it blew up there, she rocked, did she?
No, she wouldn't rock.
Oh.
Because it's all solid concrete.
All concrete.
All solid concrete. Thick glass all around the purge, sometimes it's foggy. Going to the glass, see the light.
Yeah.
They killed themselves.
Oh, yeah.
People did birds up by the tower.
And was there a fog alarm on back of the wall?
On the western end there was a fog alarm. That was the end that was nearest to Beatty Bird.
Yeah.
There was a fog alarm.
And nobody lived there?
Oh yes, there was a fog alarm.
Well, we stayed there too.
We stayed there too at that time, yeah.
And what did these people have their families up to with them?
Oh yes, because the Ryans on back of Lou, there was 3 sons and a daughter.
Yeah.
So one year he had a teacher hired. Teacher who was there all one winter.
Really?
Yeah, at school.
He must have had a lot to do, I'd say.
Yeah, they were. But after that, then they went ashore to Beatty Bird.
Yeah.
Went to school. They all were pretty good. Yeah, the daughter was used to be teaching.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There was down with those islands, you know where the lights are. It's pretty difficult places to put lights. Of course, that's the only place they could put them, or that was the right place to put them. I guess I don't know if you passed along by Easter Head there in Random, going in Random.
Yeah.
Where the Coopers used to live. They spent years there. I think get a book or two out on it, where they would go from the mainland up to the head over the Gosh on a big iron ladder, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know how they ever did it. I don't think I'd be too anxious, I don't know if I'd be too anxious to go up on these ladders there and back a little. But I guess they were pretty secure,
Well, they were pretty secure, yeah. But you do, the cows and the cattle they kept came up there in boats. And was hoisted up by a winch, or hoisted. They had an engine there for coming on anything fast.
Yeah. And what would they do?
They were strapped around their strapped around.
And what would they do? Keep the cows and kill them and so on and so forth?
They keep the cows for their milk and for meat, for killing them, butcher them. It was all part of their living.
What did they just have? Cows? Did they have any other animals there?
No, cows and a horse.
Cows and a horse.
You had to have a horse, because that was the only way they get their supplies up to the lighthouse.
Oh, yeah.
Every time they came down, the horse came down and pulled up a load of supplies, coal, or whatever the lighthouse had required for the winter, you know.
Well, I suppose these people had lots to eat. I mean, today
It's all supplied by the government.
Oh, yes, yeah.
It's all under the transport camps, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what it was then, but now yeah. It would be, that was, I suppose, under Commissioner government.
Yeah, put under commission, you know.
So,
yeah.
Now it's Transport Canada. And would they have any hens, or?
Oh, yeah, they kept hens.
Kept hens.
Kept hens for the,
So they'd have a scattered chicken for Sunday, where you would have the pup.
Well, they used to have a lot of pups and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they were crack shots.
And Roy, I suppose that the Toftons and Turrs, they were numerous, were they?
They were numerous, but the tur didn't taste good in the summer.
Oh.
No, not a good taste.
Oh.
The puffin never changed the taste.
Ever?
It tasted good in the summer they were in the winter.
And would they be in the sides of the cliffs, or would they nest on top of the?
No, they always get me in a hole. They make holes. There'd be holes in the cliffs. I mean, you watch them out in boats, a puffin coming in with a cape in it, and you go right on in.
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't be too far from the land. You're only about 10 minutes steam to where you go fishing.
That's right.
It's a small boat.
Yeah.
So you watch a puffin come in with a cape in his mouth, and you go in, and we will have to wonder if you went in the right nest.
Yeah, I seem to always know the right ones, don't they? But you killed puffins, but now, what would you do? You'd be out over the island, you wouldn't be out in boat.
Oh no, you just walk out.
And they'd fly in over the edge, would they?
Well, into certain times, they wouldn't fly in the day, but in the morning and the evening,
Yeah.
they'd fly.
Yeah.
And you just go down into suitable place. There's one place called, what they call the Whale's Back.
Yeah.
Like a long, low rock. You just get in on the thing, cars, the puffins come around the corner, you knock them down the wing, pick them up.
That would be on the land.
Oh, yeah, well, you pick them on the land. You wouldn't get them off until the boat.
Oh.
It's all on the land, when they fly on the land. You know?
Yeah.
Places you will go, some is better than others, you know.
If the people, if you were doing it today, I suppose you'd be put in jail.
Well, you wouldn't be allowed to do it.
No.
I don't know if you were allowed then, but there's only part of your
That's right.
diet, really.
And I don't think
That was the only meat you had.
And I don't think you depleted our stock of pups.
You only killed enough for the dinner tomorrow. That's what it was.
One net today, one cotton net can destroy more puffins and more turrs than was killed in these days.
I say the part about it down there then when you were fishing down there, it was mostly hen lines.
Oh yeah.
Mostly just by hen line.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as nets or cod traps even around there.
I love the fish, I suppose, in that area it was fairly
when the
plentiful.
capelin was around, it was in shallow water. I mean, wherever there's shallow water, there'd be a fair amount of fish.
I can remember years ago, people used to go to Baccaloo in their motorboats, and they had little cuddies on them.
Oh, yes.
And this is where they stay.
That's right. I can remember those.
A little tiny stove, I can remember from Hens Harbor, seeing Father and Uncle Bell, and I think it was Aubrey Tuck. And they go down, and where would they moor their boats then it was stormy? What would they do?
Well, in Baccaloo Tickle, there was an island right there by Baccaloo on what they used to call the Puffin Island.
Yeah.
And you could always seek shelter by that island, one way or the other.
Oh, yeah.
Or like if the wind was northwest, you could go down the upper side of the island.
Yeah.
Go down around Northern and come up on the other side, and you go smooth water.
Oh, yeah.
So it was the other way around, the wind was in easterly, you come up on the western side of the island.
I never did know where they used to stay in the boats.
Well,
This is what they do, go up there and throw out a grapple, I suppose, or an anchor.
Yeah. Unless they got so stormy, they had to leave and wing to the mainland, something like that.
And that wasn't the smoothest thing there from
No,
what I gather.
so that was a rough life, I'd say. I mean, people that fish from the island was bad enough. But the ones that fish from the boats.
But Roy, they never had, there wasn't many facilities then for taking showers in these little boats.
Oh, there was not many luxuries.
No, I guarantee a little stove, I suppose they'd taken off grub with them, do a week.
Yes, that's about what they had.
Go down and spend a week in these little cuddies.
That's right. You wouldn't undress.
It's a far cry from our liners we have today, isn't it?
That's right.
Then you go aboard this carpet from one end to the other, and your TV and radio, telephones, and what's some other difference?
Oh, but that's what you call a fisherman then, Frank. There used to be a fellow came down from Lower Ironcourt, and he used to come down by himself.
Yeah.
Fished alone in a deck boat.
Yeah.
And he'd come down every day, and the weather be bad, stormy, and he'd be down. You know?
Yeah.
And you often wondered if he ever make it, but boy, he always came back the next day.
Came back next day.
He was all alone.
Well, Roy, I suppose at that time, was there ever any years when you found that the cod was scarce, or there wasn't any, or?
Yes. Well, I don't remember, but I've heard my father say how they were down there. One year in particular, the fish was very scarce, and even with the cake was on, and the dogfish came.
Oh.
And you put out a cod folder and trowel, and all you get is dog. Hook after hook after hook.
Yeah.
And I remember in 1935, they were down on, I was down then, but I wasn't old enough, but my father was down there, and it was four of them, my father.
Yeah.
And up down there, there was Will Pearson, used to be on the high road.
Yeah.
And Sarah Hiscott.
Yeah.
That was the crew. Four. And they fished all the summer. And they came home in October. And when they got home, they went and straightened up with the merchant. They owed the merchant 44 cents.
44 cents.
They never had a thing for themselves.
Well, Roy, what would they do then? There was no unemployment then these days.
There was no unemployment. I tell you what they did then. They hired E.J. Green's boat, and they went across the bay, on the north side of the bay, over in the, I don't know what sound was, Smith Sound.
I guess, yeah.
And they cut a schooner load of hoops, birch.
Yeah.
And they came back and shared it up, and they made hoops. And I know my father, he went and got barrels, fish casting. everybody was doing that the rest of the fall, night time. And if you wouldn't have the daytime, nighttime, making hoops and making barrels, and probably building a boat in between. That's how you survive.
A far cry from today, isn't it? But now they work to, or I wouldn't say all of them, but we have an awful lot. So long as they get your 10 stamps, they're quite happy.
There's no such thing as stamps then.
But Roy, you say there was years there was no fish. What do you think happened to the fish these years? Where did the fish go? Or
I don't know, it's hard to say, I don't know if it was the conditions of the water. But it seemed like those years down there, I remember one year I was down there, and you go fishing in the shallow water, you could actually see the fish swim. I know that plenty of it there, you throw a dabber, you say, with a cape like that. You wouldn't mean the water for a fish out. Or a jigging. Jigging away, you dig a boat load.
Yeah. All the years there was just no.
I remember one time I was down there and the father was sick and I went out fishing with Abraham and Pierce Indian. They had a fair-sized boat. They went outside the island and there was thousands of fish. That's how you jig it. No, they didn't have no baits for the bait. Okay. And we jigged that boat load. It was in again by 2 o'clock and she would load it right to the gulls.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Now,
I knew my fish. Every fish I jigged, I cut his throat.
Cut his throat. Roy, of course, that's what you're supposed to do with them, You were doing then, 40, 50 years ago, what you're just learning to do today, to cure the fish properly. But you hear talk of, these days, you hear talk there's no fish, and there's this and that. What do you really think has happened to all our fish we had? When John Cabot came over, well, you could take it up in baskets, so he said.
What is that?
And you've seen it back a little while, like you just said there, when you jig it, when there's so many.
That's right.
Well, what has really happened to it?
Well, all of a sudden, when the cape would go, that fish would go.
Yes, yeah. Well, they were chasing the cape.
There'd be a time, probably a couple of weeks, there wouldn't be hardly a fish to get jig, but eventually probably the herring come and the squid come, and the fish would come back again.
Yeah.
For that year,
But you hear today about the scarcity of fish, so on. What do you think has really happened to the fishery today? What has happened to the cod?
Well, I guess it's over. It got to be something. Got to be overfishing.
Yeah.
Even today, I read in the paper recently. Now there's supposed to be a cod ban on. There's 98 foreign trawlers on the Thousand Grand Banks.
Yeah.
They're out there fishing. Well, our fishermen here can't fish. So how can the fish gain the land, and then the cape are being destroyed too?
It makes you wonder, and why these people are allowed to fish, and our own fishermen, we can close our plants, we're not allowed to fish.
That's right.
There's something wrong somewhere, isn't there?
I think Canada should actually Iceland.
Yeah.
Send their warships.
You mentioned there was 98, and I think the next day, they counted 105.
Yeah, well, I heard the figure I saw was 98.
Yeah, next day I think there was 105. So these foreign vessels are fishing, and we're not allowed to fish. Well, Roy, we really ourselves, the draggers, and even the inshore fishermen, we've really hurted our own fishery. Because only a little while back I was talking to somebody, and he was telling me how we went down one night down the store, and the gentleman was there, that's down this twine lot, making his twine, making it smaller, making the mesh smaller, because the small fish was going through, so he was starting to do that, he was starting to destroy the fish.
Oh, sure.
And then you weren't allowed to sell anything under 18 inches, so of course it was taken aboard and thrown overboard.
Right.
And feed for the gulls, that's what it amounted to.
Oh, yeah.
And I believe another thing that has hurted our fishery is the capeman. I don't think they should have been destroying the capeman like they've been destroying them. That's what they feed on. And how was the fish coming? There's no capeman.
There's no capeman, there's not many fish.
Right.
Because, it goes to show when the years that I was knew about fishing. There was lots of capelin around and lots of fish. There was lots of whales.
Yeah.
I mean, there was times, one time down there, some days you had to leave the ground. The whales be around the boats.
Yeah.
So they were after the fish, capelin, going along the water. So one thing brought the other.
That's right.
You know.
And another thing, I believe the fisher, I believe that the seals are killing thousands tons of our fish, or they're eating the capelin, and there's nothing for the fish they're eating, and it's comical, you know, to hear the scientists talking about the seals with no fish in their stomach. You guys, they're really not eating fruit out there.
Suppose they're eating the fish, they're digesting, how can it be in their stomach?
Just a few days ago, they were telling me a couple fellows rode sealing, and they got 10, I think it was, and they were filled up with capelin and shrimp.
Yeah.
That's what was in their stomach, capelin and shrimp.
Well,
that's what you don't caught.
That's what the fish was normally feed on.
That's right.
Yeah. But that was another problem. See, down one of the problems back in the water, and you had to have for daily. You leave, you go already to the mainland. In the water's really cold. Wherever you and look for capelin. Now this is before daylight, but you had to even get the capelin and get back so quick as you could.
Yeah.
Once you found a spot of capelin, you made no problem that you had a small capelin, say, and you soon got enough capelin.
But there was no freezers then to keep them, so you only had a day or two supply, I suppose, did you?
Every day, you did this every single day with the capelins around.
You did this every morning?
You did this every morning. You went in there and you did not get any capelin. Then you'd have a look going down by some island. Now there was a couple of places. You were lucky sometimes. A place used to call Northern Gulch. You would wean down there, and you back a boat in, and you wean on in the cliff. It's like a cave, just big enough for the boat to get in. There was a little beach there. Lots of times you would get capelin there.
Oh, yeah.
You were lucky. The water was smooth. You know.
Yeah.
You couldn't do it with any sea on. But that was a problem, you know. And you had to have capelin really to get any fish.
Yeah. And you go out then and haul your trawls.
Oh, yeah, if you had a trawl out, I mean, we went out one day and we had a picking full of capelin. You know what a picking is, don't you? And
those are two capelin.
The fellow gave us capelin. He came down from up Island. He only had a few, so he gave us a picking full. So on our way, we're going down to the ground is called the Ardens Rock. And I took the capelin and cut everyone in half. And when we got there, we put it what they call codfish. Well, we didn't bait it. We put it to codfish and we came back to the other end and started baiting it. When we got about half baited, I used to say, well, I can find something tug it, you know.
Yeah.
And I said, I think there's something getting on that. So after a while, while I was doing this, my father was jigging fish while we were doing this, while I was baiting the trawl.
Yeah.
So when we got almost to the end, he called up and he said, boy, that's fish on it. So we turned around, the boat steamed into the boy again, and hauled up, and the boy went into hauling up. So we worked with fish.
Every
hook, biggest kind of fish. And we started taking them out. Before we got the trawl hauled, there was a squall of wind came, and thunder and lightning started to blow, and we had to leave. But then we took out about 3 camels. Mitchell broom for them, put some forward, and we had to come in to the gulch, went and got a cup of tea, and come down and hoisted up the fish. I went out again, and then I took out another boat load.
Right.
Off the same truck.
That was fish, wasn't it?
There was a lot of fish there, you know. It wasn't always as easy as that, but that was a real good day.
Yeah.
You had about 6 or 7 counts.
I'm a pig full of capelin.
That's right, on a pig full of capelin.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Well, these days are gone. The fish isn't, aren't they? And Roy, what time would you usually give up now?
we wouldn't go much probably the latter part of October.
Yeah.
Wouldn't stay after October.
There'd be lots of days, I suppose, then that
It'd be too stormy, you know.
you wouldn't get out
Or
board
the
a
water
lot.
would be too rough.
Yeah.
But see, when we were down there, then used to be a lot of
Tourists, I suppose.
No, I mean, because the war was on, there'd be a lot of warships on the go, corvettes and destroyers.
Sorry?
Oh, yes, yeah. I remember one morning we were out fishing, and there was two planes came down outside us, and they were dropping, you see the water, I don't know what they were dropping, it was bombs or different, and the water was going up in the air.
Yeah.
And the next thing there was I suppose it was a destroyer. She came on the way outside, and she was dropping, I suppose, the depth charges, so there must have been a submarine or something around.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Was that, I suppose, it was in the time when the war was on.
I suppose they were looking at us all day long.
Oh, I suppose. But sure, we weren't sure shooting that.
No, I suppose that. But the wonder they didn't surface and ask you for a meal of fish or something, you know.
Well, I heard my father say when he was fishing, now, that's when my grandfather was going.
Yeah.
They were down there fishing, and they bring him a rowboat there.
Rowboat?
Yes.
But they roll out from winter?
No, they were down there. They used to roll down, sail down. Yeah, 40 inches.
Yes, they used to have little bullies or something,
Yeah.
didn't they?
No, this was only a bay one.
Oh, yes, yeah.
But anyway, they were out fishing, and the next thing they heard the steamer blowing. It was foggy. Couldn't see it, but she was blowing and blowing.
Yeah.
And next thing, she loomed up in the fog. And the next thing they heard her, someone singing over her horn, wanting to know where they were. And they said, well, you're on the northern part of Bacalloy, about the Conception Bay.
Yeah.
So then they asked them where they were going. They said they were going up to Belle Isle.
Yeah.
For R&R. So they told them to come over. They wanted to come over. They said they wanted to get a meal of fish. So when he went over alongside the boat, he sent down a basket and put it in the basket full of fish. So he hauled the basket up. Next thing the basket came back down again. There was a lot of things in it. A jar of rum. Earthenware jar of rum.
Everything?
So many loaves of bread, fruit, a whole basket of goodies. You know?
Yeah.
So that was the real thing, you know.
You were very happy.
So they had a big celebration when they went ashore then.
I would say. And that jar, what happened to that jar?
I don't know. I often wonder.
That'd be quite something
Wait,
to have.
you talk about things happening. See, Frank, we had a small looking glass hole. And
Yeah.
what happened to that one either? It's only about, I suppose, about 5 by 7 or 5 by 8.
Yeah.
And that one was dropped from the top of the landing place, the crane on Bacalloy and down on the rocks. And never broke.
Never broke.
No, the frame came apart, but he went down and got it, and the glass wasn't broken when the frame came apart on the ends. And he went and put it together again.
And you don't have it now, do you?
No, I don't know. I should have kept it.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of things they say we should have kept, but it didn't seem as if they were worthwhile keeping. But that was a day.
Nowadays, yeah, it's a different thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
So.
Well, Roy, this has been very interesting talking to you now, and probably somewhere down the road, we may not, but probably our grandchildren or our children would sometime listen to it. And of course, a lot of them are going to wonder where Bacaloo Island is. But if they've read some of the old Newfoundland books, history and so on, they no doubt know where it is, you know, and they'll probably give you, when they hear of the fish today, with the scarcity of fish, and the big trawlers and the big factory freezer boats, they'll come to realize what the Newfoundlanders had to go through 50, 60, 100 years ago. And like we were saying, if there was no fish, well, you either had to, at that time, probably go and get a job in lumber woods if you could.
That's right. Yeah.
And I believe they used to get, I don't know, it was 90 cents a day or something. I've heard fellows talking about probably less than that. And just to feed their families. But it's so much different today.
Oh, no, there's no comparison.
No comparison
today, man.
Well, thanks again, Roy.
Oh, you're kind of welcome. There's a lot of older fellows around, and not me, can tell a lot of better stories.
Yeah, well, I suppose there's not too many now left from the Bacaloo days, is there? Few of them.
Oh, few over winter, not that many, no, you know. Few all our hands, you know.
Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir.
Roy, last night when we were doing that little recording, we jumped ahead of ourselves, I think. We didn't start off from the beginning. What I refer to as the first time that you ever went to Baccalieu. I believe somewhere along the line I heard you say you went to Baccalieu one time for a holiday. So, I don't know if you'd like to tell us about that now.
Well, see, Baccalieu was a household word, you know, because your father went to Baccalieu for 40-something years without a break, every summer. Of course, you know, I heard about so much about it, I wanted to go down. And so this year, I was 12 years old, and he decided I could come down now after the Cape School. So we left Winterton one morning with a boat, with a small boat, 20-foot boat, with a 4-horsepower engine.
That was a big engine these
And
days.
she was loaded because they had all her supplies, they had herring, nets, everything for the fall. So on the way down, when we got down off Old Perdigan, the
How
wind...
many of us were in that boat, Roy?
Well, there was Uncle Noah Harnham, he was to the tiller, and my father was was the engineer.
Yeah.
And there was Wallace Piercy, and Wallace's cousin, Fred Piercy. Fred Piercy later got killed in the war, he was in the Navy, got killed.
That was in the Second World War,
Yes,
you
right,
say.
Second World War. But anyway, the wind came up, and we all had to oil up. And I had on
You mean the wind came up, but you mean it
came up from the
northeast.
northeast wind and rain.
And that was blowing pretty well right up in Trinity Bay.
Right up the bay.
Out of the ocean.
Yeah. And we had to oil up. Now my oil clothes was made out of flour sacks. And it was made waterproof by linseed oil.
Oh yes, yeah.
My mother made it out of flour sacks. Anyway, we had to get it on. It was getting pretty knobby, and the boat was well loaded. So when we got down on Ready Coal, my father said to Uncle Noah, he said, Noah, what do you think? He said, should we go off to Lord, or should we bring my Ready Coal and haul up? And Uncle Noah said, no, he said, we're going off to Lord. That's what we came down for. He said,
Oh yes.
go down to Lord to go fishing. So my father said, I'm going to carry Roy in, he said, because he said, we're going to have a bad time when we're there.
How far was it? Roy across there from really?
Good 3 miles.
Or 3 miles, but it could be rough.
Oh, it is. It could be rough, see. So we
But
went
you were after coming 20 or 30 miles.
20 odd mile, yeah.
So you wanted the other 2 or 3, you couldn't make it.
Well, we figured with the water, she got bad. She got water, it was blowing hard, you know,
Yeah.
with a load of boat. So we went in Ready Coal, and of course it was too bad in there to go into there was no slip by there, there was only a landmass, rocks. So we had to moor out in the harbour, so the boat came out, wanted to know what we wanted. The father said he wanted to go ashore and get a place for me to stay till the weather got better. They were going to come back from it.
Looking for a boarding house then down in Ready Coal.
Of course, it didn't take long to know that because he knew everybody in there anyway.
Yeah.
And the first one he ran into was Art Hyde, and Art said, well, come up the house, we got lots of them.
Yeah.
So they landed me, and they took off for Ireland, and we watched them going over with the spy glasses, you know. So they made it over on me, placed the boats. So two days later, they came back for me. Got my father and Uncle Noah and Wallace.
You were a bit of a celebrity then, I suppose, in Ready Coal.
So, and the wind was after dropping the tide now, but the water was terribly rough.
Oh, yeah.
The boat was banging into it. We had to kneel down on the up forward part, hold on to the bow top.
Oh, yeah.
Come down. Come up. So they went over. Now this is my first experience getting ashore in a ladder.
Yeah. And were you scared? Were you scared?
No, I didn't show you what to do. Well, you had to get ashore, so you had to do it one way or the other.
Yeah.
Anyway, you got ashore and they hoisted the boat up again. And the next day, then the water had calmed down a bit and they all went fishing. I didn't go. I wasn't out fishing very much.
No. You were touring the island, in other words.
Well, I was a landlubber.
You were the landlubber, yeah.
But anyway, I did get out a few times. I got a few fish, but I'd get terribly seasick.
Yeah.
Oh, more. That's something took a long time to get over. But anyway, I stayed out till the last part of August, school was on the hand open. So now the getting home was the thing now, and so I ended up, someone from Bailey Bird used to come down there fishing after the trap was over. There used to be boats coming down there, so my father got in contact with someone who was fishing, so they came and picked me up, and I was up there for a couple of days in Bailey Bird until E.J. Green came down. He used to buy fish down there.
Yeah.
So I got a ride up to winter with E.J. Green one night. Ride home, clothes bag under my arm.
That was quite an adventure for you then.
It was quite an adventure, you know.
Yeah.
When you were down there, you saw the things that you always heard about. You went out on the places where the birds nested.
Yeah.
Got the young birds in the nest and so on, saw their nest and the old gannets.
Yeah. And
White House was a big attraction, you know then.
I suppose there was no such thing as paying board then in these places. They just took you in, they were glad to do it, and gave you half of what they had.
What they had, that's all, yeah. Well, then it was the other way around, because at the time they came up our way,
right.
they were treated pretty good.
Yeah.
But they treated you the same. You know?
I can remember one time growing up that it was on a Sunday night, a real stormy night, and I think we were on the hand of going to bed or gone to bed, and the knock came to the doors about 11:30 or something. You couldn't see anything, you know. And Father went out and answered. There were 3 fellows there from Bailey Bird.
Oh, yeah.
They were going, and then one of them was married to a Winterton girl, and they were going up there cutting firewood. There was nothing down at Bailey Bird. So they came, and I forget their names. There was one fellow I know his name was Welsh, and Devereaux I think it was. But they came in, they were happy to get in. Of course we had no room for them to give them a bed or anything, but they were happy to get in the kitchen.
To get out of the snore.
And kept the fire in, and I suppose probably they laid it on the floor. And started till the next morning, they got up. And some salt fish, you know, so they never forgot it. A lot of decoys, they used to go through a lot of hardship, you know, trying to get a bit of wood.
Oh, yes, because that was a big
There was no
thing.
money, they couldn't buy it. And Roy, is there any more stories that from the back of Lou deal that you can...
Well, no, it's hard to think. I mean, there's a lot of stories already, but it's hard to think about that. Your presence of mind, you know, things that happen, you know.
Yeah.
But like I said, well, I was only down there 4 or 5 summers, so enough to know what it was like. And I didn't want to carry on that kind of a life.
No.
For sure.
So after you went, you finished up your education, and then you went, you took up teaching as a profession.
Right. Yeah.
And where did you teach, Roy, or other places?
Well, the first place we went was down the Straits of Belle down in a place called Beercold.
Beercold.
About 3 miles from Flower School.
Oh, yes.
So we got on...
Was there many people lived there at the time?
25 or 30 families.
Oh, yes, yeah.
But we got on the boat, the whole Northern Ranger in St. John's.
Yeah.
And it took us 10 days to get to Flower School. Through Stormbound, not many in Sanatney. To Stormbound for 2 days.
Yeah, and you had to go up around Cape Ball, then Cape North.
We went on down around, we got on in St. John's, we went on, the first stop was Wesleyville. We got there just a daylight. Pretty, had a rough night. The wind was northeast again. The barrel was rolling around on our deck. But anyway, we went down and we went on down around every port. Down Notre Dame Bay, White Bay, Sanatney. The last port of call was Cook's Harbour. Then we went straight to Battle Harbour. And then came up on the Labrador side to Fordo. Came over to Flower School. Got there on a Saturday evening. So there was another fellow on the boat, and on the winter, Peter Hiscock. He was going up to Brig Bay.
He was teaching too,
Oh yes, he was going to Brig Bay, just another 20 mile up. So when we got to flower school there, he said, you got any money? I said, I got $4 left. So he never had known, so I loaned him $2. So I went ashore in flower school. I knew the teacher there. It was late Saturday evening, so I stayed with him Saturday night. And Sunday I proceeded to Bearco and to look for a boarding house. So I found the man, knew the man's name, who was looking after the school board there. So then we started going around to the places, the houses, looking for a boarding house. But we eventually got one. Got settled in, so I stayed down there for 3 years.
3 years?
3 years down there, yeah.
Well, you must have liked that
Well, it was a
part of the island.
It was a pretty good life, you know. You could do a lot of going around with the gun, you know, because that was a big thing then.
Yeah.
After birds and tur hunting, and with not many seals though.
Oh.
Once or twice for seals, but never got any.
But there, I would say the people were pretty nice down there.
Oh yeah, they were. It was a pretty. Well, see, there was no roads then. No road, no highway, no road then. You all got around in the summer by boat, and when the froze up and the snow came, you had the dog teams. So once that happened, you had good transportation. And the man I boarded with, he had a team of dogs, and I had access to those dogs wherever I wanted to go, because he spent a lot of time, he worked with Bowar, he was a cook. The Bowar is in about, what they call 10-mile pond, was in about 15 miles in the country. Spent a lot of time in there, so the dog was always ready available if you wanted to go anywhere. And like I said, you did a lot of tur hunting and duck hunting and what have you.
And what was there? There was just, how many churches was there? Just a small place?
There's only one church in Bearco. Well, no church, because there was a school check.
Yeah, the Anglican.
And then in flower school there was a Roman Catholic and Anglican.
But
and yes, and a United flower school.
You had a clergy there, did you?
Oh yes, but he did he did 20 plays, I suppose.
Oh, yeah. So
I don't know how far west and east he went, but you only saw him probably once a month.
in the meantime, I suppose if something happened, you'd have to look after it, would you?
That's right, yeah, you had to baptize babies.
Oh, you've done that?
Oh yes. Keep church, whole service.
Yeah, funerals, I suppose.
Well, you wouldn't have, you know, as strange as it worked out, you know. Yeah. I think it was only 1 or 2 funerals I had to keep it. The minister was generally around.
But you did look after funerals.
Yeah.
And weddings, did you ever
No, he wouldn't allow it. No, he wouldn't allow it.
Marry. And there was a post office there, was there?
Well, no, not in the Bearco. You used to have to go to flower school, get your mail.
Oh, yeah.
Anybody go down, they come up with everybody's mail. So,
that was a big day, I'd say, when you get your mail.
Well, yes, because you wouldn't get it in the winter. I think it was every 2 weeks you got the mail in the winter. It all came by dog.
Oh, yes, yeah. And Roy, where did you go when you left Bearco?
After leaving Bearco, I went over on Stephenville, on the base, the American base in Stephenville. They had a school there during Newfoundland employees, a 2-room school.
Oh, yeah.
So I was there a year. And I don't know, probably I could have stayed there if I wanted. I was offered a job there, but I didn't.
Roy, what kind of salary did you get in teaching?
Well, I know when I started out down in the Straits, it was $45 a month.
$45.
And you pay $20 for your board.
Yeah. But you seem to have lots of money then.
Well, yeah, that's enough to buy shoes.
Yeah. you did a lot of shooting, you know.
So, most of your money went for shoes.
Yeah.
Boy, that was a big thing, see.
You used to do lots of tours.
Oh, yeah.
Either special day that you think of?
Oh, yeah, one special time that you had a lot of tours around. Because in the week, I was at school, so I couldn't get out. So Friday night coming, I went up to one of the boys there, and I said, "What out touring tomorrow?" Well, we got enough tours. He said, you want us to go, we'll go with you. So, anyway, the next morning,
If they do anything, then I told the school teacher.
went up and get the boat out. Tree was went out. Of course, I was supposed to be gunner now because it's my turf. Anyway, I don't know how many shells they bore, but the fellow who made, but when we came in, I had 150 turrs.
150 turds.
150 turrs, and I had them all.
And
To give the wall to me.
what did you pick them then? Did you?
Well, we took them down to where I boarded to, and everybody came in, and everybody started picking turrs. I mean, we had a tur picking party.
There was no problem. And I suppose there was a job of homebrew or something.
Well, I always got stuff like
A
that.
job of showing.
Yeah, up showing, oh yes. That's the shine on the go.
And
But the turrs, I mean, well, like I said, you had no refrigeration,
No.
so you just hoist them in and give them away, that's all.
And you just said before you went to Stephenville. Then after you were at Stephenville, where did you go then? Were you on the South Coast?
Well, I went from that to Hermitage Bay,
Hermitage Bay.
a place called Parsons Harbour.
Yeah, Parsons Harbour. Yeah, that's
That was near Rencounter West.
near Rencounter West, yeah.
But everybody knew that at all places.
You had to go there by boat too, did you?
Oh, yes. See, that was near Francois.
Yeah, that's well up the coast.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Went there, you go there by boat. Went from the boat from Argentia.
yeah.
I forget what steamer we went up on that, but I know we went to Argentia. Got on the boat.
Bearhaven used to be on that coast, and the Bacaloo used to be on that
I
coast.
think it might have been the Bacaloo.
Yeah,
And that's where I was up there, that around Christmas. I went to Port of Bass Christmas.
yeah.
But the reason I went, really, I was having a pain in my side.
Oh,
So I figured it was appendix. I went to Port of Bass. And I got on the boat after, when I got to Port of Bass, I went over to Sydney, went to a doctor, and ended up in the hospital and had an appendix.
Oh, yes, yeah.
So, and I came back on the Gulf, across the Gulf, on the Bacaloo, that bitter.
The Bacaloo, I believe Tommy Hounsel, I know one time he was captain on the Bacaloo. And he used to be out in some bad times.
Oh, I remember he used to come down the streets.
Yeah.
On the Clarabelle boats.
And I've heard fellows say when Tommy went out and he turned his pipe bottom up.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It was pretty rough, but she'd go through, you know.
Oh, yes, I heard to say one time that he went from Big Bay to Fordo and took him 9 hours.
Yeah.
Which normally only take a couple.
Yeah. And what did you do in Parsons Harbour, Roy? How many people lived there at that time?
Well, Parsons Harbour. There's only one denomination, only England. They had a post office there.
Yeah.
And there was 2 stores.
Oh, yes.
But there was lots of dories.
Lots of dories,
Couldn't
yeah.
get into the dories out in the harbour. I remember, never forget it. But it was very hilly, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
To walk from that to Rencounter West,
Yeah.
you had to walk over a mountain and go down.
Yeah.
And I never forget that there's a fellow in Rencounter West, a new Perdigan, John Penson. So he was always after me to come in now, some Saturday, stay in. So anyway, one Saturday I decided I was going to go. So I walked. And he boarded with an old lady, and she was on the landwash side of the road. So, anyway, and the house was on the shore, and we went to bed. And after we went to bed, the wind breezed up from the northwest, a good breeze. And all I could hear that night was the rocks washing back and forth underneath the house on the west. So that was my first and final time going in for the weekend.
There wasn't much of a problem there, I wouldn't say, for her, for sewerage at that time.
Oh no, it was all built in.
Yeah.
But everybody, I mean, they had a fair-sized business there, Durnford's.
Durnford's, that's right, yeah.
But they all moved out of that.
Oh, those east.
They moved up to someone went to Burgeo and Port of Bass. I ran into someone on Port of Bass after.
Yeah, these places, there was a lot of people that were independent. Of course, they fished and And up there, I believe, in the winter they do a lot of fishing.
Well, they fished all the winter long up there, but, you know, they were tied into the merchants because...
That's right, yeah.
You know, the only fellows that had money was the fellows that went over to North Sydney.
That's right.
Over to Lunenburg.
Yeah.
On the draggers. They came back and they had money. Because when I got to Parsons Harbour, I was there a while, and I noticed that every Saturday evening, every man in the community went down to the business was there. And I can't remember their name now.
The Durnfors were one of them.
Durnford had one there, but there was a trader who, I can't remember.
Warehams or anything like that?
No, they used to have a boat that went around and serviced those stores.
Yeah.
But anyway, every man in the community went down to that store.
It wasn't from Gothas.
Gothas.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
That's the name. That's where
Garland.
Garland.
Garland, yeah.
That's
From Gothas, yeah.
Yeah. But see, what was happening, the fishermen go fishing, they bring their fishing, a lot of it was sold there, and they would put on their books. And I wondered why the men used to go down to Garland's business every Saturday.
Yeah.
And I'd be down, go down sometimes, and they go in the office, see the man who was in charge. So after I got there, I asked the fellow in charge of business, I said, why is it every man in the community come down here Saturday evenings? He said, mostly they get 25 cents to put in their church envelope.
They never had very much, did
So
they?
they didn't have much money. No.
And these people, I suppose, was there soil enough there that they grew their own vegetables?
Some vegetables, but you know how they got money for the church? In March month was always the best fishing month.
Yeah.
So someday in March, everybody went out and fish for the church. Whatever fish they got, went to credit towards the church.
Oh.
That's how they got money for the church.
Yeah. So today, that would be worth a lot, I would say.
It could be a good many dollars. I mean, come in
And Roy, how long were you in Parsons Harbour?
All year.
Just a year.
Just a year, yeah.
And what did you do up there in your spare time, like after school on Saturdays?
Well, you know,
Was there any?
if I had a choice, I'd rather be down the Straits.
But there wasn't as much gunning up there, I suppose.
Well, yes, I had a few trips going on partridge.
Oh, partridge.
Oh, yeah. And
was there hair up there?
the first trip, partridge hunting, we left Parsons Harbour, went across the arm, and almost like coming up the arm out there, you know, random sound. It was about 3 miles across, and we went up on the high country.
Yeah.
And when we got up to partridge, I never saw it like before.
If you were after killing 38 partridge, if you did that today, you would be shot yourself. Of course, I don't know if there's 38 partridge left in the country.
But yeah, we killed 38, but in the meantime, then we boiled the kettle, I think, and had some beef.
That was good, I guess.
Well, that was good, yes. So then we locked in fire, but we got a few barrel birds. But then on our way, when we turned to come back, the man I was with, we spit up those forbers, you know, tubes.
Yeah.
He said, there's a hare up there by a rock. And I said, where? And he pointed out to me. So I said, well, it's too far to shoot from here. He said, yes. He said, well, don't let him see you now, but just go so many steps over to your left. He said, so he won't see you. And when you think you're being shot, he said. So that's what I did. I figured this was close enough. When I stepped out, I could see his head around the rocks. And anyway,
that's like we'd say, great big rabbit, wasn't
well, he's not bigger than a rabbit.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes, when you cut him up by the hind legs, his head was down on the ground.
Oh, yeah.
Man, he was a big fellow, this one. But anyway, we got him. So that was a big thing, you know, the hare then. So they came home with, I don't know how many partridge they had all together, but he must have probably, I don't know, I forget how many the other two fellows got. But we had a lot of partridge. Of course, you give them away, there's nothing else to do. You didn't know where to keep them, really. And so then, of course, they got interested in it, and I got interested in myself, then waiting to go again. So about 3 weeks after that, we went over again. Me and another fellow, Admiral Sternford, and his son. We went up. We never got that many birds. We only got a half a dozen because just we got up on the hill, started walking over on the barrens, it came to rain. So we sort of had to leave, come back. And I darn just believe we got come back. I went over and now here was a hare.
Another hare.
Yes, in the hollow. So I backed back a few steps and we got that. Well, I mean, you know, that was 2 hares within less than a month, you know.
Yeah.
That was a big thing.
And what were they? They were something like rabbits.
Well, they tasted
were
like the rabbit snowshoe hare. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they were, there was a couple of meals in those hares. They were a lot bigger than a rabbit.
Oh.
Way bigger.
Yeah.
But other than that, there's 2 times new turtle hunting up there in the dories.
Yeah. But Roy, entertainment now, what would you do up there?
Well, there was very little, Frank.
Very little. I suppose you drop in like to them and have a chat
Well,
with this
that's
fellow.
right, but see,
All congregate in somebody's
the
house.
trouble up there, I know it was the trouble, but up there, with the men were all fishing.
Oh, yeah.
So they were up in the
So
morning.
it wasn't
They
nice
were
for you
going
to
to
be
bed.
dropping in on the women all the time.
So they were going to bed early,
Oh, yeah.
you know, because they were up in the morning going fishing every single day.
Yeah.
They could get out. I used to play a nice bit of crib with the manager of Garvin's business, you know, the gardens.
Gardens, yeah. You were well up. You were one of the big fellows then, I suppose.
Right, so I go down to his house, you know, lots of nights, we had a few games of crib, you know.
Yeah.
But generally, the men, I mean, we're going to bed early because, you know.
Yeah. And Roy, on weekends they'd be home Saturday nights, I suppose.
Oh, yes, to be home Saturday night, but it wouldn't be really much, like I said, we did odd game of cards and that kind of thing.
They wanted to catch up on what they were missing in during
That's
the week,
right,
I
you wouldn't
suppose.
much,
Go to bed early again.
you know, as such.
But times, or they call it times, I suppose, they used to have, I suppose,
Oh,
scattered
they
time
had 1 or
in
2
school.
socials that time, you know, but there wouldn't be much of that, you know.
Oh.
But because,
Again, everybody was gone.
there was no society there other than what, like I said, the church. I mean, that was it. There was no orange society there. They could see your SUF.
No.
But I forgot to tell you about, you know, down the streets, but the time we went tickle-ace.
Oh, yes, yeah.
The man I bought with, see, he came out, he was in Cooks, in the woods,
Yeah.
to go water. So he came out in the spring of the year and he was going to go down to Flower School. But in the meantime, the year before, he had got a new boat built. Because he said, this woodwork is not going to stand forever. And he said, we're going to want something in those days.
Yeah.
Everybody had, their boats were gone, really. So he built a new boat and had a new engine. So he came out, we were going down to Flower School, so we went down the boat. He had her out in the water. So we went down to Flower School, we went down, we bought some shells. But that was always a shells. It was the most prime thing I was after. And when we came up, there was lots of ticklies. It was a little small island just off from Bearscove. There was only about 2 gunshots from the land.
Yeah.
So we didn't have the guns, so it was high-talenting to where we used to get the guns, and we went out in the boat. There was thousands of ticklies. But we killed 73 out of them. But the funny part about it, he was a crack shot.
Yeah.
And that day he missed more than he killed.
Ever?
Oh, and he admitted that, you know, I beat him and knocked down the ticklies.
Yes.
Oh, he was a good shot, you know, normally. Yeah, he had a little 16 gauge.
Normally you'd...
Double barrel. And boy, he used to miss.
Normally take the us, you'd shoot one, and once it came down, the rest would all come around.
And the
see what
goody
was
part
going on.
was they were watching us. They go watch us because we weren't very far off.
Uh-huh.
And they said to put my glasses on, and my glasses used to shine on the barrel of the gun. You see the glare. Of course, you all got a great kick out of it because I beat him and knocking down the birds.
Yeah.
So, you know, it was always a big joke, you know.
Yeah.
They had a lot of fun. It was one thing, you know.
And Roy, was there anywhere else that you taught, or was
No, that was it.
Parsons, were you finished it? You figured out was enough
Just my career in teaching.
in teaching. And what did you do then, Roy?
Then the next year, I went to St. John's, went to the old Memorial College on Parade Street for the winter, you know.
You get your degree.
Went to much of a degree, but you only took first year in degree.
Yeah.
That's what it was. And of course, then when it was over, I got sort of half over. I got disillusioned with the whole thing of teaching and few jobs on the go then, you know.
Was this during the war?
No, the war was over then.
The war was over.
The war was over in 1945.
But there was some.
It was in the late 40s.
There was some work on it.
Well, you know, it was always looking for people in the civil service, so
yeah.
I went and took the civil service exam. And it wasn't too long after that, I got a call and went to work in the post office.
Oh, yeah. That was the post office down on Water Street.
Well, Harvey Road and the West End and the old General Post Office on Water Street.
Oh, yes, yeah.
I was in three of them, but it was only there for, I don't know, 4 or 5 months altogether, you know.
Yeah.
And then this job came in the paper, Canadian General Liquor, and they wanted a stock control clerk. So I applied for some, and that's where I ended up.
Oh, yes.
In the workforce.
Oh, yes. And
That was 1951.
and you weren't married then either, were you? Or?
No.
And what time did you get married, Roy?
So I got to think of it, 1953.
1953.
Yeah.
And who you married?
I married a girl from Hansard.
You met her in Hansard, didn't you?
That's right, yeah. Yes. Yeah.
And then, of course, you've been living in St. John's.
So I became a coroner boy and lived in St. John's.
Oh, yes, yeah. In other words, that's where you made your money.
That's right.
And now you're up to retirement.
Oh, no, it's retired now a couple of years.
Couple of years.
Yeah.
Lots of money.
Oh, yeah, well, after all, you work with Canadian General Liquor, you know, all those years, you must have lots of money.
Yeah. And you have your own house. You have a family, of course.
Oh, yes, the son and the daughter, yeah. They're living in St. John's, daughter teaching.
Oh, she followed after father, I suppose.
Yes, that's right, yeah. Yeah.
Well, Roy, it was real nice talking to you. Any more stories now? Anything up? There was one you used to tell us something about the plane or something. What was that? When the planes used to fly low during the war, coming in across winter.
Well, that particular... Oh, I know the one you're referring to. Someone was a plane came down. When the war was on, I guess.
Yeah.
And they were searching, and there was a lot of planes on the go. At those times, I mean, you saw a plane, everybody ran out.
That's right.
But there was a woman in Winterton, and she went to the well for water. And when she got the water, she was coming in with a turn of water. And at the time, this plane came right in over the harbour. And at the same time, she came in over the brow of the hill. And she looked right down the harbour, and she thought the plane was going to come. And when she dropped the box and spread upon her legs, she thought the plane was going to go between her legs.
That was a small. That was either a small plane or else she had a big spraddle.
I mean, she was excited, I suppose. I mean, she didn't know what it was all about, you know.
No.
She realised, you know.
And down the Tuckers there, who was it? Italy or something? Italy going overseas. What was that?
What was that? Yes, it's a man, I don't know this man's name, but they called him Italy.
Italy.
That was, I don't know what his real name was. I think that must have been probably a nickname.
Yeah.
So at the time, you know, different countries going into the war. And at the time, Italy went into the war with Germany. So someone came up to Mrs. Tucker, they died Tucker. He said, Italy was gone to war. Oh, she said, can't be Italy, it must be his son.
Yes. That's he was down the house.
That was the only Italy she knew about.
Yes, yeah.
I mean, it was a big thing those days when the war news. I mean, Czechoslovakia.
That's right.
Because people call that Czechoslovakia.
Yeah.
Everything else he couldn't pronounce.
I remember Uncle Normie Loader over at Harbor when the war broke out. That Germany had invaded Czechoslovakia.
Yeah.
Uncle Norm would come down and he used to call it checking the valley.
Yeah.
He'd be always checking the valley with Uncle Normie. And Roy, well, in these days, people would, it was nothing, it was about 6 miles, I believe, from hence over to Winterton.
Oh, yeah.
And it was 3 miles up to Perlican and another 3 miles out to Content. People thought nothing then of, after they had their dinner, to leave and walk to Winterton.
Oh, no, that was...
I don't know, when we were young fellows, we used to do it. And of course, you know what we were after.
That's right.
Sometimes we were successful, sometimes we weren't. And 10 or 11 o'clock, you'd leave and walk home again.
Yeah, nothing to it.
There was nothing to it.
No.
And I know the women, they used to do a lot of walking, you know, these places up in Perlican and up to Arts Content. Go up there from Winterton, you know. You told us a story about people used to be walking up there or something one time.
Oh yeah, you see ghosts and cartwheels and heard all kinds of sounds. They didn't know what it was.
Weren't you going to Arts Content one time to pick up some medicine for your...
No, that was someone else. At those times the doctor lived in Arts Content and that was only a drugstore.
Yeah.
So I forget who it was, but someone was sick anyway and the doctor came. So of course, gave him a prescription. He had to go to Arts Content to get a pill, so he walked up. I don't know why he didn't go up with the doctor. But that's the doctor. He had to go to head server, I don't know.
Right.
So he'd have to walk up to Arts Content in the night.
Yeah.
So when he got up to us with Birch and Heels, he used to hear somebody saying, "Go back, go back, back." You know, he used to say, "I can't go back. I got to go get medicine for my mother." But when it all boiled down to this was a partridge.
Oh, yes,
on the side of the road. He was saying, "Go back, back."
Right. Well, he thought he was going back.
He was taught that the spirit was telling him to go back.
Yeah.
So
Yes, there was lots of spirits in these days, wasn't there?
there was a lot of noise that people heard, didn't know what it was.
The ghosts.
Ghosts, goblins, or whatever you might have called.
It was all interesting. I know we used to be down around the harbour night time, and after dark you listen to Uncle Sandy Critch and Abner and those fellows. They tell me ghost stories. And brother, I guarantee you, winter time we go home.
You'll be happy paid to go home.
There was never either car went up 4G how faster than we used to go. I don't think a car could have caught us, you know. We'd be in second gear and go. So, and the women used to do a lot of going back and forth too, didn't they?
Oh yeah, but that's about, I mean, you know, a trip like that was good.
And I thought they'd have a lot of jokes talking about them.
Oh yeah.
Like real jokes, you know, talking about this one is up today and someone else is up tomorrow and so on and so forth, you know.
Yeah. There's a lot of stories, you know, bring from New Perdican. There was a lot of fellows up there, you'd call them, they were comedians in a sense, you know, they had a wonderful sense of humor. There was one fellow up there, he'd be always up in the Five Roads. You remember where the Five Roads were?
Right, yeah.
And we'd go up there, and he'd be there, we'd have him smoke, and he'd say, "What did you tell you up there yesterday?" See, and you know what he was asking, which was any fees.
Right.
You know, that's what he was asking, but I mean, normally, if you didn't know what he was asking, you didn't know what it was.
No.
You know? And he used to go fishing himself, but that man, he got killed, he stayed down there, after across the street on Carvey Road, and knocked him with a car and got killed.
Yeah.
And everybody, he put out a camera, everybody loved him down there.
Yeah.
You know? Now, unfortunately, he got killed.
Yeah.
And another time, the church, you know, always had their garden party.
Yeah.
So they sort of patronize each churches. And this time they had one up in Perlican. There's so many women went up for winter to the garden party. And 2 or 3 of the women, they had a bit of long necks, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Longer than normal.
Yeah.
So when they walked into school, somebody said, he said, "Might have pinned her up." Someone said, "Who?" He said, "The swans."
Swans. He called them swans.
That's when he compared the women to the swans, and they had long necks.
Yeah.
So,
But Roy, Apart from these stories, when you were growing up over there, or when we were all growing up in these small places, there wasn't too much to entertain us, but you always seemed to have lots of fun.
You had your own entertainment and lots of fun.
Your own entertainment,
Yeah.
clean entertainment, that's what it amounted to, you know.
I said the winter and the fall of the year was a good time because that's when you had a lot of the socials.
That's right.
And you know, you go over to the school or to the house,
Yeah.
and you'd be going around to the houses because they had Jig's dinner. You said they had a scallop cooked or pork and cabbage.
Yeah.
The young fellas, see, they send you around a certain someone's house to collect the butter.
Oh, yes, yeah.
So you go and get the butter, but on the way back, you've eaten so much of the butter.
Oh.
We burned our fingers a good many times, but on the last, so we got smart. We had fork.
Oh, carry fork. Yeah.
So it all, you know, we'd all have to pick at it.
Yeah. And I believe at that time, hot supper or Jig's dinner, whatever they call it today, I think about 20, 25 cents.
20 cents, I think.
Yeah.
And a tea, what do you call a tea? You know,
Yeah.
with corned beef. It was 25, I think.
25.
That was the elect thing then.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Select thing.
That would be the
Go up to
business
the tea
people would
table.
have that, yes, yeah.
That was up to the tea table, paying 25 cents. It was nice.
Really,
Oh, that
the
was
elite,
tea.
that was it, yeah.
And a bit of salad or something, beet salad and...
Yes, I can remember soup suppers, 5 cents a bowl, you know.
5 cents.
And, of course, 5 cents was just as hard to get then.
It wasn't easy to come up with.
And they
Poor
would,
Esau one time too. Mr. Merritt. Remember Mr. Merritt
yeah,
down on top of the hill?
yeah.
He went into the feast of his time. Mr. Merritt sat down to the table. Now he said, Esau, eat whatever you want. And he ate 13 bowls of soup. He down 13 bowls for his stop.
13 bowls of soup.
5 cents a bowl. 65 cents.
Yes, Esau was noted for what he could eat. No, but these places, and then they would, in the winter, it would only be in the winter they'd make the ice cream because that was the only time they'd find any ice, you know, the old freezer that they would turn by hand, you know. And if you were lucky enough to get there, or if you were lucky enough to have 5 cents, you'd probably get an ice cream.
Well, I mean, you made your own ice cream in your home. I mean, we
That's right, yeah.
put a baking powder can down in a wash tub, full of ice inside, and just spin it with your hand till you made your ice cream.
So,
Carnation milk
and you just taste
vanilla
it.
flavoring.
Of course, you couldn't make it very often. You couldn't afford it.
That's right.
You know.
Yeah. No. But 5 cents, like I said, you buy ice cream for 5 cents, and I don't think I haven't tasted anything like a cent.